An investigation is launched into Taiwan's fourth military crash this year, with all S-70C helicopters grounded. The Defense Ministry confirms Chinese warships passed near Taiwan on the same day Beijing sent 29 warplanes into the air defense zone. Also ahead, we're at the Food Taipei Expo with a peek at the latest eats. Plus, the champion Taiwanese baker bringing bread with a Taiwanese flair to the world. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Yin Khvat. Taiwan's Navy is launching an investigation into an anti-submarine helicopter crash at a naval base on Wednesday. All 4 crew members were injured, with 1 in critical condition. And as Bing Wang reports, it's the latest in a series of military aircraft crashes.
Cell phone video captured fire and smoke rising from a naval base in the southern port city of Kaohsiung. On Wednesday afternoon, Taiwan's Navy reported one of their S-70C anti-submarine helicopters crashed into their naval base. All 4 crew members were immediately taken to the hospital for treatment. 3 sustained non-life-threatening injuries. But the crew chief had 2nd to 3rd degree burns on 95% of his body and is in critical condition.
是非常严重的烧烫伤。那目前就是我们现在就是地球让它的生命真相力求它的稳定。那我们现在正在积极的输液，让它的这个生命真相保持稳定。
This is the 4th crash of the S-70 anti-submarine helicopter that first went into service over 30 years ago. In response, Taiwan's Navy has grounded their entire fleet of S-70C helicopters and promised to conduct thorough inspections.
我想表达的是，我们针对这一次的事件，一定会非常坦诚的去做检讨。现在我们也编组了专案的小组，现在也正在针对所有的，不管是在天候人员的操作，甚至基建，我们都组成专案小组在进行调查。
This is the 4th military aircraft accident this year. An F-16 fighter jet crashed off of Taiwan's western coast in January and killed a pilot. A Mirage 2000 fighter jet crashed during a routine exercise in March. And an AT-3 trainer jet crashed earlier this month, also killing the pilot. With neighboring China's frequent incursions into Taiwan's air defense identification zone, Taiwan is rapidly modernizing its military. But this latest crash is another blow to the military already under constant threat. Klein Wang and Bing Wang for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Defense Ministry has confirmed that 2 Chinese warships sailed near Taiwan on Tuesday. Japanese intel shows the 2 ships sailed near Taiwan's Orchid Island. The ships sailed on the same day that China flew 29 warplanes near the southwestern corner of Taiwan's air defense zone. China does not see Taiwan as a country and has not renounced the use of force to take it. Indigenous residents in southern Taiwan are protesting over loud military exercises in their area. The army has been test-firing rockets and artillery at the Jiupeng base in Pingdong County. Local residents on Wednesday held up banners and blocked the path to the beach firing area with quad bikes. They say they weren't properly consulted on the exercises and say the noise has affected their livelihoods. The army says the local police was well informed about the tests ahead of time, and they will work with local village leaders and civic groups to find a solution. Earlier this week, a rocket misfired during the same series of tests, causing damage to its launch truck, but with no casualties. 1 more child in Taiwan has died with COVID-19. On Wednesday, a 4-year-old girl became the 6th fatality with encephalitis triggered by COVID. Taiwan has rolled out the second dose vaccination of Pfizer-BioNTech for about 780,000 children aged 5 to 11. Many are concerned that children have been particularly vulnerable in this latest wave that started in April. 66 children aged 12 or younger have developed severe COVID-19 infections in Taiwan, and 19 of them have died. The Center for Epidemic Command Center says the overall caseload has fallen slightly, but the future epidemic trend is still uncertain.
疫情未来的一个走向，那我们是认为说是乐观，但是到底能不能降到1万例以下？那这个还是要靠这个民众。
Taiwan is counting PCR results from approved at-home test machines as official diagnoses. Approved machines include the one designed and made by one of the companies of Terry Guo, the billionaire founder of electronics giant Foxconn. Taiwan's government granted emergency use authorization to the model last month as demand for tests grew in the wake of Taiwan's most severe COVID outbreak. Guo has donated 1,000 at-home PCR test machines to the city of Taoyuan, which will be used primarily in long-term care facilities.
因为它是 PCR， 所以有 CT 值，那又可以联网到医院端，那医师可以立刻判断这个群聚感染的状况。
The four-day International Food Taipei Expo opened on Wednesday, showcasing products from 23 countries. As well as food products, the expo also highlights the processes behind their production, ranging from making vegan meat to biodegradable waste. Bing Wang was at the event.
I'm here at Food Taipei 2022, a four-day exhibition in the heart of Taipei's capital, showcasing not just a global variety of foods, but also the techniques and processes in which foods get made. Such as these machines that automate bag packaging, and this one that makes bento boxes. The trade show has over 3,000 booths from over 23 countries. These include Taiwan's diplomatic allies, as well as other friendly countries like Lithuania.
Our friendship and partnership and relations are getting warmer, getting bigger, getting greater, and we hope we will bond these ties strong enough.
Lithuania led a 10-group delegation just for this expo. Imports from the country have increased since Taiwan opened a representative office there last year. At the expo's opening, President Tsai spoke about how this event can strengthen ties between Taiwan and other countries through food.
我要邀请全国的各地的民众一起来支持这些产品，让台湾跟民主盟友的互助的力量更强大，共同开创更多美好的成果。
Food is a great way of building connections with other countries in the world and also gain the favor of foreigners living in Taiwan. Chris Ma, Shenichi, Bing Wang in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
It's nearly the end of bluefin tuna season in Taiwan's far south, an important time of year for local fishermen. From April to June, the harbour town of Donggang celebrates the return of the migratory fish to their waters. Older fishermen say that they used to net around 10,000 fish, some weighing 500 kilograms or more. Fish stocks have since dwindled, but they still caught around 4,000 fish this season, with the biggest caught on Tuesday, weighing 372 kilograms. There's a special goose with extraordinary skills in Western Taiwan. TaiwanPlus reporter Alex Cheng tells us more about this unique resident of Shiluo Township.
Calling a warning and packing a stranger's shoes. This goose, named Abui, meaning chubby, lives in Yunlin's Guangxing village. It knows how to weed the garden and cares for the family it lives with. They are originally planned to release Abui back into the wild, but plans changed, and now even the neighbors are used to having the special animal around. Not only is Abui a part of the community, but also educational for local children.
既然讲有小朋友来咧看，我就甲当做活教材哦，给小朋友知影讲这个动物，我们是长在吃的就是长这样啊。
Abui is now a local celebrity, and people drop by to visit in their free time. Without planning it, their chubby feather friend has brought the community closer together. Kama Xu and Alice Chen for TaiwanPlus.
Coming up, there's a robot hiring spree in Singapore. We'll tell you why after the break.
What makes this island nation exceptionally punch way above its might? It's the fascinating human stories we heard, plus the greatest movies we saw. The enduring and painstaking past we learned, plus the beautiful people we met. The delightful cuisines we tasted, plus the coexistence of many cultures we embraced. The powerful, energizing technology we invented, plus the ancient masterpieces we preserved. The human rights we advanced, plus the motherland we called home. TaiwanPlus. We will continue to show you unheard, compelling stories that touch our hearts. Come with us as we embark on yet another unraveling journey to the world.
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, please make sure to download the TaiwanPlus app.
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. Russian President Vladimir Putin says Moscow is redirecting exports to BRICS nations to limit the impact of Western sanctions. Putin made the comments on the first day of the BRICS virtual summit, which brings together the leaders of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. It's the first major international summit Putin has attended since he invaded Ukraine 4 months ago. Western officials have been concerned Russia will circumvent sanctions placed on it since the invasion by rerouting trade to other BRICS nations, which represent a quarter of the global economy. Russia is now China's largest source of oil imports.
Важно, что, несмотря на все проблемы и трудности, деловые круги БРИКС последовательно расширяют взаимовыгодные связи в торговой, финансовой и инвестиционной сферах. Так, товарооборот Российской Федерации с государствами пятерки по итогам первых 3 месяцев текущего года вырос на 38% до 45 миллиардов долларов.
More than 4.5 million people in Bangladesh are stranded in flooding that's affected nearly a quarter of the country. The country's worst monsoon flooding in 20 years has left dozens dead and millions displaced. The Bangladesh military has been deployed to help provide aid. Many farms and villages in the northeast are submerged, and international organizations are working to restore communications. Bangladesh is one of the world's most vulnerable countries when it comes to climate change and suffers frequent large-scale flooding. The Taliban is appealing for international support after a magnitude 5.9 earthquake struck eastern Afghanistan. More than 1,000 people are known to have died in the deadliest quake to hit the country in decades. Many are still trapped in the rubble of damaged buildings. The earthquake struck on Wednesday about 44 kilometers from the city of Khost, and tremors were felt as far away as Pakistan and India. UN officials say relief efforts are being hampered by the lack of infrastructure in the region.
The roads are poor, even in the best of time. And so having a humanitarian operation put in place is going to be immediately challenged by the lack of easy access to the area, to the region. And I think that's going to be probably one of the big challenges.
South Korea has recorded its first case of monkeypox. The country has raised its alert level to caution for the disease and is stepping up monitoring. More than 2,000 monkeypox cases have been reported in over 30 countries since May. Monkeypox is similar to smallpox but is less severe. Officials say that transmission has mostly been through sexual contact. Countries around the world closed their borders due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and as a result, many businesses were left with a gap in labour. In places like Singapore, robot workers are filling many of those jobs. Jaime Ocon has the story.
From baristas to librarians and even construction workers, these robots are being hired all across Singapore to fill in job vacancies due to a shortage of workers caused by the COVID-19 pandemic.
During the pandemic, where borders are closed, it is harder to get workers. And therefore, because we're already used to using robots, it does help us to save on manpower.
According to the International Labour Organization, almost 40% of Singapore's workers come from abroad. And with border restrictions making it harder for workers to enter the country, many businesses are looking for ways to make up the shortage in the labor force. And technology seemed to be the answer.
I think with COVID, because of the need for social distancing and also because of the, restriction of movement to a certain extent in the initial period, actually robots did play a much bigger role across many industries.
In Singapore, there are 9 robots for every 100 workers, the second highest robot density in the world after South Korea. Automated workers like this robot barista could become the norm in the future as the pandemic continues to push much of the world into cyberspace. Even in industries like construction, high-tech workers like this autonomous dog are being used more in highly skilled positions.
I think things have still not got back to pre-COVID. I don't think they ever will. So actually replacing the need for manpower on site with autonomous solutions is gaining real traction in the industry.
But it's not just Singapore that's ramping up its robot employment. Here in Taiwan, robots are often seen in large gatherings and events like this one, disinfecting hallways and providing information to crowds. Experts say that by 2030, another 20 million robots are expected to enter the workforce. Businesses now are looking to diversify their workforce and might opt for an employee that is not only cheaper to hire, but also doesn't need to be vaccinated. Rick E. and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
The world has another new robot. This one is shaped like a goat, and as you may have guessed, it was developed by a Japanese company. The new machine features large curved horns and can walk over rough terrain or move quickly on smooth surfaces using wheels tucked in its underbelly. And what's the point of this invention? The company says it was made to help elderly people move heavy objects as Japan faces an increasingly aged society. The robot can carry up to 100 kilograms. That might inspire some people to call it the GOAT, or the greatest of all time. Taipei is the 10th best city in the world for quality of living. That's according to a survey by a British magazine. Monocle praised Taipei's walkable streets, hiking trails and 24-hour food stalls. The Global Affairs and Lifestyle magazine looked at different cities' cost of living, hospitality, culture and green spaces. One area where the publication says Taipei could improve is its, quote, antiquated banking system, whose services can be hard to access for travellers and residents alike. Denmark's capital, Copenhagen, took the top spot on the list. Tokyo, at number 6, was the only Asian city other than Taipei in the top 10. We take you now to meet a Taiwanese baker to find out the secret ingredient he uses to give his rising dough a local flavour.
About 1 year after he opened his bakery, business had become more steady, so he decided to sign up for an international baking contest.
如果借由比赛，那是鞭策我自己的一股力量。对，因为你要参加比赛了，所以你就会去试各种可能性的面包。 你就会去钻研各种不同的食材跟风味。
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. I'm Yin Khvat. For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, please download the TaiwanPlus app. Stay safe and see you next time.